everybody. My name is Beth English, and I'm excited to be here with you today. And I just want to introduce my friend, Sergio Gomez. Hi, Sergio.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you, Beth. I'm here joining you from the city of Chicago. Very excited to be also participating in this conversation with you once again.
Well, something's different this time. I am no longer in Nashville, Tennessee. I am in Texas right now. And today I wanted to talk about 3 steps to make tough decisions, because I recently made a really tough decision in my life to move from Nashville to Texas during the pandemic. And there's some things that I went through to sort of make those choices. And I just wanted to share that with you today. What do you think?
That is awesome, Beth, because I think in many ways we are all making decisions right now, as this pandemic came and it kind of changed pretty much everything that we have planned for the year. So in some big or small ways, we are all making decisions. So I think it's going to be a really good topic to chat about.
Great. Well, I'm happy to share because it's something that was a big decision for me, and I made it really quickly. But the first thing that I decided to do was follow my intuition. I think we sometimes have a little voice in our head or a feeling in our gut that is guiding us in a certain direction. And I think it's important that we listen to that, just because I know that it's always showing me and guiding me in the direction that I need to go. Now, the idea of moving during a pandemic is not the first choice of things I want to do, but I had to look at my situation and ask myself, because I'm a speaker, and the speaking industry is really got hit hard. Right. There's no one meeting, there's no big groups or anything like that. I like to facilitate large events and big groups. And so I'm not doing any of that right now. And so my life has totally changed, and I didn't want to just tough it out. I wanted to ask myself, what is a way that I can see myself going through this pandemic? And how can I create a series of choices for myself to make the best decision for me in my life? And I had to think about, how do I get rid of my number one expense? And that was my rent. And so I decided to move to Texas and live with my parents for just a short while until things sort of get better and I can, get back to work. And so that was one of the first steps that I did, was listen to my intuition and really ask myself, what is it that I need to do to create the best possible scenario or outcome for this experience for myself? Right.
And something that I remember, as you were talking about this and we were in contact about it, that something that you mentioned, but you said, I'm going to treat it like if I'm going to like a residency program, right? And design my own residency program. And I really love that idea, because a lot of times, when we make a decision, it can feel like, well, I'm doing this decision and it's like, it feels like it's putting me down, versus, well, I'm going to treat it like this is an experience that I'm going to create for myself, out of what's happening. But it's in a positive, giving it a positive look to it. And I think that's going to also help you experience it in a whole new way.
Right. You can look at things however you decide to perceive them. And I wanted to look at this as an experience that was going to be positive, because that's sort of the life that I want to create for myself. And so I was telling a friend, and she was so sad that I was leaving, and I said, look, just imagine I'm on an artist residency. And she was like, that's so great. And so that's how I've been treating it. I've been thinking about, well, what kind of work do I want to create? What kind of story do I want to tell? Because ultimately, as a speaker, I share stories about the work that I create as an artist. And so what is the work that I'm going to create right now? What are the stories that I'm going to be able to tell from stage about the experience that I had? And so I think that it's a wonderful opportunity to go to a new place, to explore and create from this newness, and then reflect back on what it taught me and be able to share those lessons that I learned.
I love that. I love that first one, listen to your intuition. It's so important.
Yes. And so the second one is a fun little kind of thing that me and my friend do when we are faced with a challenge. We always say, innovate, adapt, and overcome. And so whenever you're faced with a challenge, and if you say those 3 words, innovate, adapt, overcome, it really shifts your mindset immediately to think about, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to create it and change it? And how am I going to overcome the situation that I'm in? And it forces you to be really creative and to think about what is it that you want to create out of the situation in the best possible way.
And I love that, because I think a lot of us, as creatives, as artists, right now, a lot of the things that we normally do, like the exhibitions, the openings, the big events, are not happening anytime soon. And when they happen, it's going to be a slow transition. So, I love the idea of innovation. How do we innovate? And I've seen so many artists doing really cool stuff, like, virtual tours of their studio. And it just happened like these last few weeks, I've been attending a lot more, events virtually than I would normally do. Like, I went to events at museums or artist talks and things like that, just because people are innovating. And I love that idea. It kind of helps us find alternative ways of, doing what we want to do as artists, being creative and getting our work out to the world, and still engaging with people, which is, I think, that's the biggest hurdle to that connection that we are lacking of right now, going places with people. But at least on a virtual way, we can do it.
You're so right. And my biggest problem was that I was all by myself for 60 days, completely isolated, and I could tell that I was not feeling mentally strong. I knew that I was feeling more depressed than I was beforehand, and I didn't want to risk that. And so I had to get myself in a position where I was around people, and what better than to be with my two parents, who are awesome and fun to be with. And I know that this time that we share together, I won't regret it. Yeah. And that brings me to my last point, and that's trust yourself. When we know we need to do something, sometimes it's hard to give ourselves permission to do that because we're not allowing ourselves to fully trust in our decision making. But when we fully trust in ourselves, it's going to open up possibilities and opportunities that we may not have seen if we had just been sort of like barely just making choice by choice by choice, like grudgingly just not wanting to be in the situation that we are. I mean, we can complain all day, but that's not going to get us anywhere. I think the fact that you can create opportunities and you can believe that whatever you choose to do, and that you have everything within yourself to be able to do those things right now, I think is the best platform you can position yourself on to make things happen that you would like to see change in your life. And trusting yourself is such a hard thing to do, because naturally we have a lot of self-doubt, and we listen to a lot of people too. And sometimes we listen to people who aren't giving us the best advice. And I think it's important to remember that we don't have to listen to everyone, but, keep an open mind and just let in what you want to let in, and then don't let in the things that are going to maybe not guide you in the right direction.
Right. I have a question for you, Beth. So, do you have sometimes, when you're doing one of the decisions where, your reason, right, tells you one thing, but then the gut feeling or the internal voice tells you a different reason? And how do you kind of reconciliate both, what the heart wants and then what the logical brain may want to do?
Well, I always go with my intuition, and because I work at being clear and centered and aligned with my purpose and all of those things, I feel very strongly about what my intuitive voice is telling me to do. Now, was it logical to take everything I own and put it in storage and hop in the car and drive over 1,000 miles? No, that was not a great thing that I was, had to do, but I did it because my gut was telling me, and it was really scary. And, I didn't like driving by myself. I didn't like, being on the road for that many hours, but I just prayed a lot and I got through it. And the best thing is I just kept visualizing the outcome.
Right.
After I had made all of those hard choices. And so that's really what got me through, was knowing what I was going to and what I was going towards. And that really helped me sort of follow through with my entire decision.
That's cool. Because I think sometimes, I love that, because I think sometimes if we just listen to the logical voice, then we will regret not listening to the heart, And that's why I love that. I think that's great.
Well, Sergio, I hope that this message today helps you and helps everybody watching. And I just And I hope that if you're faced with a tough decision out there, you know, that these 3 steps can help you get through that. And if you are facing a tough decision and you have some other things that you go to that helps you in this time, leave a comment, let us know. We just want to have a conversation about this because it really is about us helping one another and being a community around making the best choices for ourselves. And, you know, that's what I just keep doing, is just trying to support people in this time, no matter what they are doing.
Absolutely. Can you, I really love the 3 words that you mentioned in the middle one. What are those 3 words? Maybe your friends might want to write them down.
Innovate, adapt, and overcome.
Awesome. I love that. Super. Thank you.
Well, Sergio, how can I keep following along with you?
So my friends, you can find me. The best way to reach out to me is not through email, but through Instagram at Sergio Gomez Art.
Awesome. Well, I'll be hitting you up on Instagram, liking all your videos, and everything that you're doing is just amazing. Thank you so much for what you do for your community and how I can share it with my community. And I think all of us just together are really just wanting to help encourage and support one another.
Absolutely.
If you guys want to connect with me online, you can find me at Beth English. That's BETHINGLISH. And I would love to chat with you on Instagram or Facebook.
Excellent. And I want to say thank you, my friends, again, for following this. It's been really fun, Beth, the last few weeks checking with you, and now through Texas. Awesome.
Now we're in Texas, and we'll have to maybe do a special tour in the future.
That would be very cool.
Because I'm living in a very beautiful place, and it's perfect for creating, and I'm so excited to see what comes of this and the work that's produced. I was just out last night shooting the sunset over on the ridge of the canyon, and it was unbelievably beautiful. So if you want to see those photos, go to my Instagram.
That's good.
Well, so nice chatting with you.
Thank you, Beth. Likewise, my pleasure as well. Good to see everybody.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye.